All right, Miss. Hello, welcome to your reading. I thought that I'd start. We did look at you sent me the details for your horoscope. Thank you. Providing that hour of birth is accurate within an hour either side of it, that's, we can get a reasonably accurate look at your horoscope for our purposes. So if it is accurate, then we've got your sun down here in Gemini in the third house, and we've got your ascendant as Aries. Okay, now the reason I asked about this for this information is because every 12 years a different part of our horoscope is activated, and depending on what part of that horoscope is activated, it relates to the different planets that are activated, and those planets impact certain areas of our life and have meaning. Now, I want you to think back to when you were 31 and then 32, because this, like from your birthday last year up to this year, and then from this year to next year, you're going through a similar cycle, okay? And basically that cycle is one of rebirth, and for you, in your case, the rebirth relates to your creative output. So that's what you've been going through since your birthday last year, and that sort of period of this cycle will end around your birthday this year, okay? Now, so what I would imagine is from your birthday last year, you've been looking at first thing is either when you were 31 or last year, there's a chance that you may actually have inherited some money from somebody in your family, or come across some money quite suddenly or in an unusual way. That is something that may have happened, and basically what we're looking at here is over the past year, since you turned 43, we've been really looking at focusing on change around how you implement your creativity and your creative output. This can be in the workplace, this can be in terms of your personal life, children or what have you, but you've been really looking at change, a lot of change around your creative output. Your chart suggests to me you've got Saturn and Mars here, which are both malefic planets, and they're in Leo. It suggests that you're actually quite driven, determined. You can be quite dogmatic about what you create and how you create it. You're somewhat conservative in what you put out into the world. This can be something from like how you construct your businesses, or how you create your kind of personal life, how you create your house or what have you. But you're very sort of regimented and structured. You like boundaries, you like rules around this. You like to follow, like imagine some people do a painting, you like to do a paint by numbers almost, okay? The way that you go about what you're putting out into the world, your creative output, is very thorough. You like to be in charge of this. It's something that you like to be in control of, because you actually feel it deeply at your core. It's important to you that what you put out is reflective of who you are, and you are conscious of what other people, of how they read your output, because that relates to who you are. So over the last year, since your birthday last year, we've been looking at change around this, some kind of rebirth around this creative output and how you do it, okay? Now, beginning June this year, from your birthday this year up until your birthday next year, 2021. So again, when you're around 32, this is similar pattern. You're looking at we're looking at here. You've got your ninth house, which is all about either long distance travel or people from overseas coming into your world and having an impact. But it can also be about study, not necessarily at university or whatnot, but it's more of a study towards wisdom, like higher wisdom, higher learning. And that's what's activated for you this year, beginning June this year, okay? And this sort of study, or this to do with these people from overseas, or studying overseas, or just some kind of more expansive learning, something that really broadens your horizons as such, that's going to be happening on a level in the zone of how you make money, your goods, also to do with your body. It's happening in the plane. All this study, all this reflection, learning new wisdom, expanding your borders relates to your income, okay? In your house, the second house, in your house of income, it also shows that you're actually quite good at looking after your money. You do like to spend your money on nice things, and you do enjoy you do feel this integrally, like it's integrated into who you are as well. You feel it quite deeply. Having said that, though, you're very, again, quite conservative around what you do with your money. You're very clever with your money. If someone invested money with you, you would take it upon yourself to turn that over quickly for them, to make the most of that. You're not wasteful. You're very good with that. So this year, beginning June this year, around your birthday, this is where the focus is, okay? It's about learning new ways, discovering new ways, thinking about different ways to expand your income sources, okay? I don't feel it's going to be an issue. It's not going to be a struggle, because you've got Mercury in this house as well. Mercury is the planet that rules your sun sign. It shows me that you're actually very good at communicating around your income. You're very good at manifesting money through negotiations, through clever talk, through good deals, through contracts, all that kind of thing. That's it's showing me that's something that you're really adept at, and that's something that you're going to be focusing on this year as well, from your birthday this year up until June 2021, okay? That's what's activated. It does feel as though you're completely self-made, okay? It feels like, even though your chart suggests you may in the past or in the future receive some kind of benefit from somebody, like somebody who passes over, it looks as though you're receiving some kind of money. You're still the one who has put in all the effort and being really regimented and structured about what you do, and being quite conservative, quite sensible, and also quite authoritative. Like, you don't let other people control your money. You're quite authoritative around that. And so this year, from your birthday this year, that's going to be really important for you. Just sort of like, so last year was all about, you know, a rebirth of sorts around how you express yourself in the world. So that kind of, there may have been some kind of change around what you do or how you do it. This year, sort of extending out from that, it's really going to be about exploring different ways to secure your income, secure your material stability, and then also not just securing that, but also sort of being how you spend, what you spend on, the way that you're that kind of shows up in the world for you, okay? All right, so that's just what I've been looking at in terms of your horoscope and what's going on with the planets for you. It happens to everybody. Everybody goes through these cycles, like so the cycle of rebirth and the cycle of wisdom gaining and borders expanding, that kind of thing. It just depends. It's different for everybody depending on where their planets are into sort of how it manifests in their life. So it might be a good idea just to think back to when you were 30, 31, 32, and just think about the themes in your life back then. What was going on around like change in your life, change in how you expressed yourself, and also what you learned from other people, particularly people from overseas or traveling, like long distance travel, but also what you learned like on a higher plane, like a more like a deeper learning, like a deeper kind of more expansive learning, and how that translated into your ability to make money and to set yourself up financially for the future. Okay, so let's have a little look now at where things lay for you. Oh, come on guys. Hope you can see. Yep. So let's have a little look at where everything lays for you at the moment. Again, I'm doing a horoscope type spread, so each of these cards that I put down relates to one of those different segments that was on that horoscope there. I like doing these readings. It gives us a really broad overview of what's happening in your life right now at the time of this reading, okay? And then we'll look ahead to see sort of what we can anticipate in the year ahead for you. All right. Okay, let's go from here. All right, so we've got the Knight of Cups. Starting here, we've got the Knight of Cups, all right? And that's in the house of you, who you are, okay? And then we've got the Four of Wands in the house of your income and finances. So we've got some stability there, which is nice, stable energy. So right now, we've got something like a foundation there, okay? So then we've got the Two of Swords in your third house, which is communication and your siblings, people who are like old childhood friends, that kind of thing. We've got, oh nice, then we've got the Emperor in the fourth house, which is the house of your family, but also the house of who you are, like quite internally, in relation particularly to the influence of your genetic, your ancestors, your genes, who you are like really deep down as a person in relation to that. Okay, then we've got the Ten of, okay, so this is not looking too bad. If you're worried about your finances right now, this is not looking too stressful. Okay, I know there's some upheaval here, but just hang in there, okay? You've got the Ten of Wands in your house of creative output. So you've really reached this. Actually, this is cool actually, because this aligns with what we were saying. You are at the end of a cycle there. So there is definitely the focus definitely is on change around how you express yourself in the world, okay? This may actually mean that you need to be less conservative and take a few more risks and be more action oriented. Okay. Now we've got the Eight of Pentacles in the sixth house, which is the house of what we do every day. And this really suggests to me that you're actually really good with your money. You're very focused on that, but also it's a nice in terms of your health and well-being. You're quite stable there, okay? You've got a good foundation to work from. So even though there's a lot of change in your life at the moment and things are looking a little bit doubtful, and you're being forced to implement, like sort of like think on your feet at the moment, your foundation is really strong, okay? So you've built yourself into a good place for this to be emerging from, if that makes sense. Alrighty, now this is interesting. You've got the Tower in the seventh house. A lot of people are getting the Tower at the moment, and I do think it's because of what's going on a global scale. The Tower relates to being forced to pull apart the foundations that we've built up in order to bring in a new, more authentic foundation, in order to build a new, more authentic self up. Okay, now this is in your house of intimate others, so it suggests to me that this is actually also happening for your partner. Your partner, he or she, is being forced to also they're also being forced to reassess their material world, what they've built up for them, probably around their workplace as well, their materiality, also their physical well-being. But just really at the moment, it does suggest that, your partner also is in this period of quite dramatic change, okay? And it's the kind of change that nobody can really anticipate, all right? So this is something that's beyond your control right now. So, okay, so now we've got the eighth house. You've got, so this is nice. In the eighth house, you've got the Knave of Pentacles. So somebody may actually come to you offering some money. Somebody may offer you some assistance at the moment financially, but also it's suggesting that there's a new pathway that's being offered to you, okay? And this makes sense because, as I said, since your birthday last year right up until June this year, you are in the eighth house, and this is the house of change, and this card suggests that you're being offered a new pathway, okay? So you may actually be just thinking about business ideas, because this does relate to your creative output, and usually that relates to for most of us in our society, that relates to what we're doing financially, unless we're artists and have hobbies and whatnot. I mean, this could be as simple as saying that you actually are being given this time right now to actually take a load off, relax, and actually invest your time in things that are probably a little bit uncomfortable to you, because you seem like it feels like you're somebody who works quite hard and doesn't spend a lot of time, like downtime. Okay, so this might be a signal for you to actually enjoy this downtime right now, even though it's not for you, it feels as though it's not productive and it's not sensible and it's not sort of like what you should be doing. This actually might be a time for you to actually just take advantage of this moment before your birthday this year, when it's going to start kicking in again, and you're going to be working really hard and doing a lot of research and reflection on how you're going to implement your financial plan as you progress from June this year, okay? So anyway, more. So that was the 8th house. Now we're up to the 9th house, and you've got the Knave of Swords, okay? So again, this is interesting, this alliance. In the 9th house, which is the house that you're moving into this year, where we're looking at expanding our knowledge bases, expanding our consciousness, even like to that level it can be. This is the house of God, so it is a really metaphysical house as well. So even if you're inclined towards that kind of thing, this can be an opportunity for you beginning June this year to be more attuned to like your higher consciousness as well, and use that as a tool to help you advance and progress, okay, in your financial zone, particularly because for you these two houses are quite interrelated, okay? But the Knave of Swords also is another, and knaves are always an opportunity for us to take a new path. They bring us news, they bring us messages, which relates to this house as well. And so for me, I feel as though for you, for this card in the 9th house right now you're at this opportunity. It does feel like this is an opportunity for you to rethink how you do things, rethink your priorities, but also this is actually an opportunity for you. It does feel like an opportunity for you, even though it's not something that feels like a blessing at the moment. It's almost a blessing in disguise for you, what's happening right now in the world. This is giving you a chance to have some sort of like time where it is what it is. You have to kind of surrender to what's going on at the moment and just make the most of what's happening right now, because you're being given this chance to really deep dive into some expansive learning. Okay, let's have a look at the 10th house, which is your career. Okay, so your 10th house, you've got the 9 of Cups. Okay, so it feels like you do actually do something that's really satisfying and rewarding for you on a very personal level. Okay, it feels as though what you've built up for yourself is extremely it's emotionally really rewarding. It's emotionally really satisfying for you, and this is a time for you right now to look back at what you've grown. Okay, look at what you've actually achieved. Look at what you've accumulated. This is a time for you to just really deeply appreciate what you've developed. Okay, and other people in the community around you are going to be aware of this. They're also going to be sort of looking to you and recognizing that you've actually provided them more than they realized as well. Okay, and this is playing off the Emperor that we've got down here in the 4th house, which is your internal position. You actually I feel like you have more renown among people than perhaps you actually realize. People see you as somebody who they are willing to invest their time and effort and money in. People see you as somebody who is really you've got your head on straight. Okay, like you're very forthright. You are quite authoritative. Okay, you do have this authoritative energy that you put out there, because you have really high standards with yourself, but other people as well. But people don't see that as being a negative thing. People see that in you as being a really positive trait. They admire and respect that. And so that's what sort of draws people into you, to want to invest in you, and to want to give you the time, okay, give you their resources kind of thing. They respect that in you. And so that's something that you can use this downtime right now to take to be aware of, to take advantage of, and it's going to inform this self-reflection, this time of self-reflection that you're going to be given to help you develop new ways as you move ahead into the future, as you progress. This time that you're being given now, this dissolution of the things that you've built up, this is an opportunity for you to take that time to invest in yourself, to recognize your strengths, to recognize what you've built up and where you're at, and to kind of give yourself a pat on the back, but also realize that other people see that in you. You're going to actually come out of this phase successfully. It feels like frightening, because you do like structure and you do like form and you do like your material world makes you feel quite secure, and your material world is really the manifestation of who you feel you are, and it's the manifestation and the sort of proof of the effort that you put into things. Okay, I feel like that's going to be rewarded. All right, it's not happening right now, but there's nothing to suggest that that won't be rejuvenated. I really feel like money, you are going to receive money to help you through this, whether it's from it just feels like there's money coming in for you to help you navigate this. So don't be afraid. Okay, we've got the Lovers up here in the 11th house, and the Lovers is all about, okay, this is interesting. So the 11th house is about our social networks. It's about our social structures, the part of the community that we it's about cooperation as well, so cooperation and collaborative work. So you've got the Lovers here, which can mean that somebody really close to you is actually going to be helping you through the situation that you're in now. It could be an intimate someone intimate, like an actual partner, but it could also just be this other side of you that you can draw on to help you through this situation at the moment, because you definitely, what you're putting out into the world, you are definitely at the beginning of a new cycle here, okay? There is a definite there's a definite change when this whole thing changes, when this whole kind of thing that's happening on a global scale changes, comes to an end as such, you're not going to go back into what you were doing exactly the same way. In this downtime that you've got, and in this period from your birthday now till next year, you're actually going to be more strategic. You're going to use this opportunity to definitely reframe what you've been doing in your business. You will have the help of somebody very close to you, but to help you do this. Yeah, you will have the help of this person. And I do also feel like this is just related to your duality. You are a Gemini sun, so you do have that duality. You do have this ability to have like 50,000 different thoughts at the one time, and to have all these different projects on the go. You do have all these different projects on the go, all these ideas, and really any one of these ideas can be successful for you. I don't think you're going to start something brand new, but it does feel as though what you've already established, you're just going to like tweak it, change it up a little bit. It won't be quite the same when you go back into it, but it will be successful. It will be okay. You do have the support of your network, of the community around you, the people who you're really close to, like your friends, like your close friends and everything. But also this other side of you is what you should be looking into. And I think that that's interesting, because it relates to that tapping into your higher consciousness, or your deeper self, or your own wisdom as well. And I really feel like this time now, like I said it before, but this time now, this downtime for you, is a time to do some brainstorming, do some research, read broader, wider, look at different business plans or different business structures, even beyond what's informing you already, because I feel as though your mind is such a sponge, and it absorbs so much, and it can synthesize information, analyze information, and do so in a really productive, sort of more structured way than a lot of people. Some people kind of like information overload, fall apart, can't make things from it. But I feel like you can actually turn that into something. So anyway, and then the 12th house, okay, we've got the Queen of Cups. Okay, so I just need you to really concentrate on being patient. I need you to really concentrate on just allowing this to be how it is at the moment. Just nurture yourself right now, nurture your physical body, nurture your spirit, nurture your mind, nurture your relationships with your friends, with your loved ones. Okay, take this time out to just really invest in yourself, because your card in the first house is the Knave of Chalices. Okay, so this is showing me, these two cards are showing me, along with all the other knaves here, that and yeah, so many of these cards, this is a really big turning point for you internally, as your identity, how you identify within yourself, like your sense of authenticity within yourself. But also it's a chance for you to almost remake yourself a little bit, not drastically, but more in a sense of just being kinder to yourself, and giving yourself time to figure out what you want things to look like more holistically in the future, after this little period of, after this sort of down period. Okay, this is an opportunity for you to just identify what it is that matters to you, but also identify and implement strategies to be just more mothering to yourself in the future, okay, as we come out the other side of this, because it's not going to be helpful to kind of power through this period of time with high stress, high tension, high anxiety, and then just come out the other end of this not having worked on some internal stuff within yourself, okay? And that's not a criticism, it's not a critique. I just think that you need to be kinder to yourself a little bit and more patient with yourself, because you can be really hard on yourself and have those high expectations, all right? Other people can see in you what you keep striving to prove, but it's innate in you. You don't even really need to try that hard, because you exude it anyway, okay? So let's have a little look here at the coming year, the different months. So now we're going to break these houses down to the different months. We're going to start with April, because today is the last day of March. So we'll start with April, and we'll just have a little look at the flavor of... Oh, actually, first of all, we'll have a look at strengths, obstacles, and opportunities right now. Like meta, okay? Strengths, obstacles, and opportunities. Strengths. Okay, this is interesting. You've got the Death card, which means rebirth, okay? It means that, and this is your strength right now, okay? This is what we're talking about. You're in the 8th house right now. You're about to go out of that house, and you're about to go into the house of implementing and investigating what's coming out of this period of change, all right? If I can tell you one thing, you need to know that everything in your life right now is where it should be. Everything in your life right now is according to God's plan for you. Everything in your life right now is unfolding in a way that's going to bring you greater awareness, greater dimension as a soul, and it's nothing that's happening in your life right now is going to destroy you, okay? Everything happening in your life right now is divine plan, and the cards are really affirming it for me. And I just want you to know that, okay? Your strength right now is this chance for you to rebirth yourself, okay? To really go through, it's like the butterfly in the chrysalis, okay? You're going to come out of the cocoon even more beautiful and truly as the being that was always there, if that makes sense. This is a test for you, understandably, but we go through these trials to come out even more profoundly beautiful and more profoundly who you are, okay? And that's where you're at right now, and it's really beautiful. Everything's really aligned for you in this reading with your chart and everything, so I have no doubt that you're going to come out of this even wiser, okay? Obstacles right now, yeah, you are feeling a little bit stuck about how to create, sort of almost feels like something out of nothing right now. Does feel like it's getting you down a little bit. You're not quite sure how to progress through this. All I can tell you is just that this is a matter of, it's just time, okay? You just have to be patient with this. Just be patient. Be kind to yourself in the interim. Look to the people around you who are there, who are also going through the same experience, okay? They're there to support you through this, all right? you do have close friends or intimate partners, loved ones who are going through this with you, okay? And they're there to support you through this. They fully believe in you with this, okay? They have no doubt that you taking this time to recalibrate yourself is actually going to be beneficial for everybody around you, including yourself primarily, okay? So just give it time. And then opportunities, oh, that's cool. So you've got the Emperor here and you've got the Empress, your opportunities. So this could actually mean that somebody in your somebody who you know, somebody who you associate with, somebody who's quite wise, a woman who's quite wise is going to offer you an opportunity. She's going to offer you either some knowledge, some wisdom. She's going to offer you a way out, a new way to think about things, but it could also be basically this is who you're going to step into, which I feel as though that could be the case given that you've got the Emperor down here. I think this is really an opportunity for you to be more balanced, to be more balanced within yourself, to kind of really really gain balance between what's coming into you and your output, okay? I do feel as though you're a very busy person, you're a very active person, you're very authoritative, you have a lot of responsibilities, you are a great communicator and people respect you and have a lot of admiration for you. You're very particular about doing things by the rules. You're very conscious of how other people perceive that, and you can actually limit yourself a little bit because of that. Your creativity, you're more like your instinctive side can be a little bit dampened by your thinking side, like it feels like a little bit that you can actually be so occupied with the rules and regulations around something that you don't feel free to implement the kinds of changes or the kinds of ideas that actually matter to you. And that could actually be what changes for you after this period. It feels like you actually might just take it upon yourself after this period of reflection to implement things that you felt as though before you weren't able to implement because of somebody else's authority. And that's kind of like clashing with you. I feel like you need to own your own authority a little bit here, and I feel like when this changes, you're going to be able to do that, and it will benefit, like it will be to do with your business, and it's going to benefit your business. And so yeah, I think it's really important for you to tap into yourself. This is a really significant time for you to tap into to balancing out who you are, even actually getting to know yourself a little bit more on a different level. We all change, we grow and change, and sometimes we don't do that self-reflection or that inventory, that personal inventory, to find out quite where we're at personally, how our priorities have changed or how we feel about things. We just don't have that time anymore. We don't take the time to do that as we age and things differ. So I really feel like this is an opportunity for you to just become more attuned, more centered within yourself, because you're being forced to be less busy. You're being forced, like this structure has kind of collapsed around you a little bit, and so now, you've got this opportunity to see in yourself what other people see in you. What I was saying before, other people actually see real leadership qualities in you, and you have that in abundance, okay? you may feel like you're scattered sometimes, or that you can't put your thoughts together or your ideas together or get something off the ground. But you have that. Okay, so let's go to April. All right, we've got the King of Cups. So we've got a lot of cups in this reading. So this is obviously impacting you on a really, feels like you're kind of emotionally feeling very fragile at the moment, and you need a lot of emotional support through what's going on at the moment. Next month, in April, that's definitely the case. You're feeling as though emotionally you're kind of a little bit fragile, but and somebody, particularly a male around you who's very supportive. It could be a water sign male, because we've got cups here. So Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces male can come in and be really supportive for you. But it also feels like in April you may actually begin to sort of conquer this emotional lability that you've got going on at the moment, and you may actually feel as though things are coming, you're just gaining more stability around that, and so you're less, things are fluctuating within you less at the moment, and you just feel a little bit more grounded and centered emotionally, and that's for April for you. April. May, we've got strength. Okay, so strength is about using our force to in the best way that we possibly can. Everybody has this energetic force within them, obviously. It feels as though in May you're going to be given an opportunity, or the theme is going to be that you are figuring out how best to channel that energy for the best results. Okay, so how best to channel that energy that you have in order to achieve, without hurting other people as well, without causing other people any strain or stress. It feels like April, May is going to be sort of really for you about just becoming more emotionally stable again, feeling a little bit more in control of your emotions, feeling less reactive, and a little bit more as though, okay, things have settled down a little bit for me now, and now I can I'm a little bit more centered, and I have a clearer kind of head and heart, and the energy that I'm putting out there now is purposeful. Like, I'm using my energy in a purposeful way. So you need to start thinking about how you want to channel that energy so that it is purposeful. So when things start to move forward again in the world on a whole, when you're moving forward with it, particularly because this is in your finance zone, how you're going to channel your energy purposefully to move forward, move ahead in a beneficial way. Okay, and that's coming to you. You will find that in you. You will find that resource in you, okay? April, May, June. So by June, your birthday month, you're going to be feeling, okay, you got the King of Wands, which is so cool, because the King of Wands is, he's in the house where your sun is. He's in Gemini for you. And you are the King of Wands. Oh, no, sorry, I was thinking of another card. So the King of Wands is all about energy. Scratch that. King of Wands is all about energy and being the ruler of energy, being the ruler of our actions and our behaviors, and mastering that. So you do have two kings here, which is really cool. You've got April, May, June. Okay, so it does feel as though things are going to start to, in the next couple of months, things are going to start to even out for you a little bit. Actually, if you know somebody who's a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries male, they could actually step up to the plate for you, particularly if you have an old friend or a relative who is one of those signs, a male. They're going to step in and give you a hand in June. They're going to have a good impact for you in June. But you yourself, personally, I feel like by June, you're going to figure out where to be putting your energy, and it's all moving, your emotions, your energy, your power, your structure, your behavior. Everything's going to start to you're going to feel a little bit more in control again. You're going to feel a little bit more centered again, and as though things are moving forward in a positive, proactive way. Let's have a look at what we've got for July. Cool. So you've got the star for July. So by July, which is interesting, because this is now we're into your into the period in your horoscope where you're going to be doing this deep reflection. We've come out of the rebirth as such, and we're going to be reflecting, we're going to be looking beyond our horizons, and that's cool because you've got the star, and the star is all about guidance, having somebody, something, often if you're attuned to your it's cool that it's in the house of your ancestors, your spirits and whatnot, because if you're attuned to that kind of thing, this card suggests that you are going to have help from the other side, whether it's your spirit guides, angels, whether it's ancestors who have passed. But also it does relate to yourself as well. So you can actually set a direction by July. You can think about where you want to be, say in a year from now, in July. It would be a good time to start doing that reading. I'd suggest that if you meet interesting people, if people just sort of like randomly pop up and you would never have spoken to that kind of person before, if you see something advertised somewhere that's something to do with like anything that's kind of going to give you a new perspective or help you to grow intellectually, but also spiritually, and grow into more of who you are. Any of those kind of opportunities that come around in July, take advantage of them, get amongst it, because by July you're going to want to start to set a new path and have some clarity around it for yourself. So this is attuned to the next few months, you building up your strength again, your strength of your internal strength. So by July, it's going to be a good time for you to start looking around, even if not before, even if in June you start doing this, start looking around, discovering new things, and sort of setting a course for yourself for the next year. Okay, another knave. Wow, yeah, you're definitely, all sorts of new opportunities are opening up for you. This whole thing that you're going through right now is absolutely 100% not a catastrophe. This is actually opening up so many new pathways for you. All these new opportunities are coming to you, and I feel as though the most significant one has to do with this rebirth in your creative output. I feel as though you need to actually express yourself more and more, honor how you express yourself. Really tap into what it is that you want to say, what it is that you want to do, and really figure out a way to make it more about who you are and what you want in the future. I know that you've got your career path and everything, but I feel as though this is a really good time for you right now to take more control of that, in terms of it reflecting your needs and your vision. Okay, because in August, you do have an opportunity. There could be messages again coming to you that give you an opportunity to explore this again, particularly exploring how you express yourself. But yeah, you've got so much of that around you, and in August that's going to sort of like peak again, particularly around how you express yourself. So this may actually relate to some kind of advertising strategy, some kind of business strategy that you put out there. But it's going to be very directed, very very forceful, almost feels like militaristic in a way, but you've got the chance for it to really represent to really say what it is that you want to express. Okay, so that's by August. September, we've got the moon. So the moon is all about sometimes things that are going on below the surface, like in your subconscious, that you're not aware of. So by September, when you're doing this, because you're entering into this period now of internal deep diving, but also like massive expansion of your awareness, by September, parts of you that you may have either suppressed or parts of you that you just simply might not be aware of are going to start coming to the surface. This can sometimes be emotionally triggering. It can be emotionally exciting or stimulating. It can be really stimulating, it can get your creativity flowing, because this is happening in the house of what you do every day, your day-to-day activities, also your health and well-being. This could actually just be a really this could be like an August could be when you get, September, you could get some real mental clarity around some of the things in your life that sometimes you don't say that you wish you could say, or that you don't do that you wish you could do. I do feel as though it really relates to who you. I'm just looking at your horoscope over here on the paper, and I do feel as though this could really relate to how you see yourself as a woman, just your femininity in general. It could really just trigger for you by September this period where you're going through this real psychological, emotional shift. Okay, it's exciting. It's not something to be afraid of. You're supported around it. Everything that's happening in your life right now is perfectly aligned for this to go ahead. So even if you do some journaling amongst this reflection that you have an opportunity to do now, some journaling, or reading books about the psyche, read like some self-help kind of books, personal development books, but not so much to do with your business, more to do with like your well-being. Okay, start to kind of consider, or that probably will just turn up on your radar anyway by September. October, you've got an opportunity, the energies relate to choices in your finances, in your material realm. So by October, I really feel as though everything that's going on with your business at the moment is going to have begun already to have shifted. And I do think this has to do with like you renegotiating something to do with your business, and renegotiating it in a way, again, that I really feel as though this is you renegotiating this to better represent your needs and your wants and what your vision is. That's all I'm going to say about that. I do feel as though it is in the 7th house, the house of your intimate relationships. So I do feel as though your partner could help you through this, help you to do this workplace negotiation, and support you through that. It feels like there's definitely a choice around it, but the choice relates to you building the business back up again. Okay, so it does relate to you building your material foundations back up again. All right. October, November, we're looking at, okay, we've got the Hierophant. So November, you're going to be guided. There's definitely I don't know if you have like a spiritual foundation or anything, but somebody who's quite inclined in a spiritual way can really give you some support here. But also it could just be that you're looking more to your spirituality and you're looking more to that side of things, that you're just more drawn to that, and that you actually start to accomplish breakthroughs in that in your own life. I do feel as though, because again we've got this in the 8th house, which is the house that you're in right now of rebirth, do feel as though you personally are going to go through like this is like a kind of spiritual awakening period for you. Everything that's going on right now for you is tapping into like deep personal change and revelation in a way that's way more focused on really core aspects of you as this person in this lifetime, but also you as a spiritual entity. I feel like that's why it's really important for you this year to try and express yourself and who you are and your needs and desires more, and in a more authentic way, and expect people to respect that. And I do feel as though that has to do with this moon card down here and the star. I feel like you're being given this chance to follow your own star for a little while, okay? To follow just to tap in back into what you want, who you are again, okay? So by November, you're going to get some guidance around this, whether it's something you're reading, something you see on YouTube, somebody who you can sort of relate to in that dimension. Somebody's going to help you through this period of change, and it's just going to be quite beneficial. You've got quite a lot of major cards here, so you do have a lot of really sort of life-changing energies around you at the moment. So this is a really life-changing period for you on all levels of your existence, okay? Not just material level. This really does have to do with you more as a being, okay? December. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Pentacles. Certainly by December, it looks as though your finances are going to be sort of have sorted themselves out, okay? That's December this year. So it looks as though it's all sort of like moving ahead anyway. But by December, yeah, you're going to have reached another kind of pinnacle in terms of that. And it does have to do with these ideas that you personally have been following up with and that you can implement, okay? January, okay, so January, you've got the 8 of Swords. So by January, all this kind of mental activity that you've been doing this year, because believe me, like I am talking about spirituality, but you're going to be doing a great deal of critical analysis of your life, and also of how other things impact your life and what gives you the greatest sense of meaning, okay? But by January next year, you're going to have reached a sort of point where you feel as though you're really beginning to master this now. You're not sort of like in such an apprenticeship phase. You're more of a master around this now. Things are definitely going to be feeling more even, more, it's less about emotional ability, less about this kind of frenetic energy that's kind of confusing things at the moment where you don't know where you stand. By January next year, all of this is going to have unfolded in a way that begins to make more sense to you, and you'll probably feel as though this now is laying like quite a solid foundation for the year ahead, like for the future, particularly the future of your career and your reputation as well. February, we've got the 3 of Swords. So by February, it wouldn't surprise me if you start to really begin accumulating something again. Really begin to accumulate, especially on a social scale, on a social level, your groups, whatever groups that you're involved in, you're really begin to begin to make some kind of creative change in how you interact with your groups. What those groups bring to you is going to instigate a different sense of creative mental dexterity kind of thing. But yeah, you're going to start to begin to see some really kind of more concrete results from this pathway that you're working on right now, these changes that you can begin to implement as you're working through this personal evolution, but also the impact that personal evolution is having on your place in society and your place within your groups, your friendships, all of that. People are going to start noticing this change in you, actually. Other people are going to start noticing this change in your psyche, okay, by February next year. And then March next year, you've got the Knight of Cups. So, oh, shit, sorry. Just had to shift. So the Knight of Cups by March next year, which I know it's a year away, but it's almost like coming full cycle to an extent, particularly in terms of your emotional stability. There is going to be some kind of it's almost like emotionally now, by March next year, you're feeling more resourced, as though you personally have more agency around your emotional state, but also more agency around how you interact, but particularly with yourself. And I really feel as though this whole reading is really about your relationship with yourself, and how you see yourself, how you know yourself, but also like the vision of yourself that you actually can step into if you choose to go there and explore it, and then how that is going to translate into other aspects of your life in a positive way. And by March next year, it's really going to come full circle. You definitely have gone through this initiation period, which is what this cycle, this part of the 12-year cycle can feel like, that you're being initiated into a higher dimension, or a higher embodiment, a higher manifestation of who you are. And by March next year, it's going to feel really nice. And I feel as though you can begin then to really absorb this learning that you're going to be doing over the next year. You're going to absorb it better, okay? And it's going to just feel more naturally part of who you are. This self-discovery that we've got down here with the moon, it just feels as though everything's sort of going to come. It's going to feel more congruent and less awkward and sort of tricky, because the work that you can do now on yourself is it's the result will be noticeable, okay, for you as well. So in the coming year, let's look at your strengths, obstacles and opportunities in the coming year. Strengths, 8 of Cups. All right, so definitely your strengths over the coming year. The strength that you're going to develop is this real adeptness at your emotional, an adeptness with dealing with your emotional realm, okay? You are a Gemini. Geminis do have a tendency to be very intellectual, very caught up in the mind and the brain and ideas. Geminis can be really caught up in communication and all these sorts of and can often find it really hard to commit to one thing or to follow through with one thing. I know this because my moon is in Gemini and I love Geminis. But your opportunity this year is to get more in touch with your emotional body, okay? Who you are as an emotional being, to feel less turmoil about having emotions and expressing your emotions, to feel less afraid to express that to people, okay? To trust that you can actually that you don't need to always have your emotions under control, that it's okay to let go, it's okay to feel these things, okay? It's okay for you to sometimes not know or to feel confused. It's okay, all right? This is the opportunity coming up for you this year. It's just to go through these stages of uncertainty where you're at now and to build on those by investigating yourself, okay? And to build on yourself by investigating yourself, all right? So that's your strength this year, okay? Is to build up on that and to know that. Obstacles, strength. That actually could also relate to you being able to draw on that from the people around you as well. Draw on your friends, family, people who are close to you, to draw on their emotional stability. Yeah, actually, I feel like you can draw on other people's emotional strength over the coming year to help you through this change that you're about to go through, this evolution, this development that you're about to go through. Okay, so yeah, the obstacle is feeling emotionally... Now, how is that going to be an obstacle? It's to try to be open to new ways of experiencing how you feel, okay? That's the best way I can put this. Try to be open to other people's emotions as well, and the way that other people express themselves and the way that they behave that triggers your emotions. Try to be aware of that, because you may find that you are uncomfortable dealing with emotions, and that is what that's where some of your imbalance may be that you need to redress this year. So just try to, and also try not to expect that your emotions or that part of your life has to always be calm, okay? There are going to be these periods of fluctuation through the year. Like, this is a really big journey that you're about to go through. I'm not going to lie, these 2 years, the one that you've just had coming up to this birthday and the one ahead, they can be really trying, okay? They can be really stressful, because you're fundamentally changing and you have to explore what you're going to do with that change, okay? They're difficult years, and if you don't acknowledge it, it can just be really hard. It's best to acknowledge that that's what's going on, that this change, this is just a cycle, that you will have been here before and you will be here again in another 12 years, okay? This is just a cycle. So try not to be attached to any one way of feeling. Like, if you feel good one day and then feel shit the next day, go with it. Don't be hard on yourself about that, because you are going to be going through these ups and downs, okay? It's going to be a tricky year, but it's a year of really self-discovery, and that self-discovery, you're going to invest into your future, okay? And it will be successful, so don't worry about that. Opportunities, change. Okay, so this change that's happening around your businesses, finance, anything like that, it's actually an opportunity for you, okay? It's not, it feels like out of your control at the moment, which is making you feel really uncomfortable, because you do like to be in control of your finances in a very particular way to you. This is an opportunity for you, okay? This change, this material change right now is an opportunity for you, because it's stimulating your emotional, psychological, spiritual change, okay? That's all there is to it. This change and what really the takeaway from this is that, you have built up a material world around you, but you're never fully in control of that, because all of that external stuff is always so reactive to outside forces. Ultimately, all you can control is how you think and feel about that. If you can go with the flow with that this year, it's going to be less stressful than if you try to control it. So recognize that this change is happening. It's happening for everybody at the moment, and for you, it's impacting you in a particular way, but it's an opportunity for you this year, okay? And it will be okay. You have a lot of support around you, and you have a lot of really helpful cards around you. Let's have a look at the archetypal energy around this. So this is the sort of meta kind of themes in life that we encounter for you for the next year. Let's just have a little look around that. Sorry. Actually, just have to do that again, because I started thinking and I don't want to think. I just want to do. Hang on. All right, this card wants to come up. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. You've got the Magician, okay? The Magician card is the card of as above, so below. It's a card of, it basically is saying that you have the power within you to make magic happen, okay? Everything that you need to make the life that you want is actually within you. It's not outside of you, it's within you. You're the one constant in your life, okay? From birth to death, there's just you, all right? Everything that you need in order to feel wholesome, complete, successful, content, at ease, loved, compassionate, all of that, it's already within you. Looking outside of yourself for that is just an illusion, okay? It creates an illusion, and it creates this sort of false reality that is subject to collapse, all right? So this year for you is an opportunity to really tap in to your inner gifts, your inner talents, and to use those talents. It's really showing you that if you draw on what you have inside of you, and I know it can be tiring, and I'm sure you've already done this in your life to get to where you are right now, but don't forget that this is not a failure, okay? This is beyond your control, everything that's happening in your world right now. Don't forget that you have these everything. Like, you have the intelligence, the wisdom, the savvy, the compassion, all of that you have within you to transform into the vision and the future that you want for yourself. Really do feel as though this year and everything that's going on right now is a massive opportunity for you to implement a future that is more reflective of who you feel yourself to be, but also who you actually are, just as a spirit, as who you actually are in God's eyes as such. So yeah, it's a nice card to have for your energy this year. All right, I think that's where we'll leave it. If you have any questions, please message me, because I'm happy to clarify anything and whatnot. Namaste. Cheers.